will come to you.
Okay.
I mean, there are other balancing postures Raki can show you as well. For example, if we do a cat pose, but with a certain kind of twist on it, where you're balancing on just one side of the body, again, the mind is so focused on the balance that it can't think about stress. So Raki will show you.
So this is normal, just normal cat pose. You see the spine is neutral and the head is just facing forward. You can even come into an arch, which is a really nice way to stretch the spine. So you tuck the chin into the chest and then curve the spine up to the ceiling. And then to increase your balancing challenge, you can take your left or your right leg back, and the same hand reaches back and you look forward.
And this hold just, I'll speak for her now because she's actually concentrating.
She makes it look so easy, but I can imagine how tough it is.
In this concentration, she can't think about any stress, and what it also does is it builds up confidence. So often people going through anxiety or suffering from low self-esteem, especially in depression, and just achieving something like this really builds your confidence. Thank you, Raki.
And you would do that on both sides?
Yeah, she will, maybe not today, right now,
sure,
but we would normally do it on both sides just to balance the body out.
Wow.
Very simple to do.
And
so
do you feel the effects of it straight away?
Yeah, especially when it comes to calming your mind and your circulatory and your nervous system. And that's really important before you go into any kind of meditation. It's really, really helpful to do some of these simple balancing asanas because it just empties the mind, creates a single point of concentration, and it makes your meditation so much more effective.
Yeah.
So if you suffer from an overactive mind, a good way to calm yourself down.
And the other thing we can do is things like pranayama and meditation, which is also really good. I don't know if you want to...
I would love to, please.
Bit of that today.
Yeah.
So the first thing to think about with simple meditations is just getting the position right. And that's what a lot of people get wrong, is just the correct position of a still meditating pose starts to ground the body, because we have a lot of electric currents that run up and down our spine and up and down our chakras. And while you're running around, they're not earthed. But as soon as you put the spine all the way down to the ground, the lowest chakra is connected to the floor. And just like you would earth any electrical appliance to stabilize it, if we earth our body, immediately we get into a calmer state. So a few things to remember. When you sit in your meditation pose, keep your chin parallel to the ground. And that will stop you getting drowsy and falling asleep halfway through. The second thing, get your legs into a comfortable position. Raki is in a position here called Siddhasana, where she's taken one of her feet onto her thigh and calf area. Okay?
Now, this could be uncomfortable for some of us to do. So what can we do?
Well, she can do something called Sukhasana, which is a simple, happy cross-leg position that most people can do. And if you find it really difficult, I don't know if we've got a cushion around here. Do we have a cushion somewhere?
Do we have a...
Hold on a second, I've got a prop here. I'll come and get a cushion.
Brilliant.
So we can easily slot this cushion just underneath the hip area, and as soon as we have this cushion here, the legs are much more relieved of the pressure.
And would someone still get that same grounding effect with their chakras?
You would do, but obviously they'd be slightly different, but a little cushion won't cause much trouble.
Great. Now, Neil, we actually have someone on the line, so I'll bring them up.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Hello there, Madhu. Welcome to The Companion. What's your question for Neil and Raki?
My question to Neil is, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, my question to Neil is, first of all, I'd like to thank him because I was one of his pupils some years back, and I had come out from very, very bad illness, and both him and his mother helped me when I would join his yoga classes. He used to come and teach us even in the Harrow Women's Association, and it was such a great advantage, and I'd like to thank him. Can I speak to him, please?
You may certainly go ahead now. Unfortunately, Neil can't hear you because he doesn't have the ability to hear it right now on this show, but I will translate whatever you say to him, so certainly go ahead and I'll translate.
Why can't you hear me? Why can't you hear me?
He doesn't have a piece in his ear where he can hear your voice because he's moving around doing demonstrations. So if you can share it.
Miss Madhu here. He might have forgotten me, but I had a very serious illness.
Hi, Madhu.
She was one of your pupils, Neil.
Oh, really? Hi, Madhu. Good to speak to you again.
Do you remember I was your pupil some time ago in the Scouts thing with your mother? And you really gave us...
Oh, really? Yes. Yeah, my mother was teaching about 25 years ago now, but
yoga,
great.
And it's been such helpful because I came to you after a very serious illness, and you gave me a lot of advice and meditation and the poses of yoga.
Yes.
And it
meditation is fantastic for that.
Tolerance power, and you won't believe it is really good for tolerance and to tolerate any pain you have. I think I just remember because you also came to teach us in the Harrow Women's Association when you were in disciples.
You came to teach in the Harrow Women's Association as well.
Yes, I remember.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Your mother was very
Remember
thankful.
me?
Thank you,
Do
Madhu.
you remember Mother specifically?
I do, Madhu, and I remember all of you guys at that centre as well. And I'm so glad you remember me and you called in today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mother, for sharing.
Thank you.
It's very nice seeing you on the television again, and I'm very grateful for what you did for us.
And she's very grateful for what you've done for all of us.
I appreciate that.
Mother, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
indeed for sharing your comments with us. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye. Thank you.
So with the pranayama, so we've got our meditation position, and if one is to hold this position just for 5 or 10 minutes a day, just simply like that, and clear the mind, they'll get great benefits. But one of the best ways to...
Oh, sorry, Neil, sorry. So are you saying that just getting in the position even before you start the meditation is beneficial?
Yeah, just being in the position and focusing on the stillness of keeping your body still actually starts to get the body kind of tranquilized and sedated just by focusing on the fact that you're still and in this beautiful shape, because the energy in the spine will run so much better when you're straighter. When we're like this, we're much more lethargic and energy is not flowing well, our lungs are not working well and our organs aren't. But what I was going to say to you is, from this position, if we do a breathing exercise, we can really multiply the effects of calmness within ourselves. So can I show you, or with Raki show you?
Can I just also add,
Yes.
for those people that, even getting into this posture is a challenge, if you've got aching knees or pain in the lower back, just even practicing and getting into this posture is fine. So sometimes even if you've got a higher cushion, it helps with your legs to keep them a bit, freer. You can also just extend the legs a little bit to keep it a bit more stable. And also, if you've got pain in the lower back, don't worry, just keep practicing a little by little, and keeping that spine straight will really help to prepare for meditation.
Great. And is it possible also, Raki, if someone is finding it difficult, to have some support under each of the knees?
Yeah, you can put you can get bolsters or cushions that you can put right underneath your knees, and that really supports the pressure of the knees.
Wonderful.
So with the breathing exercise that we can add while we're in this position, that really, really works, was a simple thing called Trinity Breath. And it's a 3-stage breathing process. When we breathe in for 3 seconds, we hold the breath for 3 seconds, and then we exhale the breath for 3 seconds. So what that does is it extends your breathing cycle to 9 seconds. Normally we breathe in 18 times a minute, but with this one, you only breathe in about 4 or 5 times a minute. And what that does, not only is it extend your life, but it also calms your mind by influencing your nervous system to be working at a slower rate too.
Now, if someone is a complete beginner,
Yeah.
can they still do this
Very easily.
9-second cycle?
Yeah, it's very simple. I'll go through it with Raki very, very quickly. And you can see 3 seconds passes quite quickly, actually. And you guys want to practice at home, we'll do a couple of rounds with you if you want to do it right now. Just keep your spine straight and you can follow as Raki's doing it. So very slowly, we're going to start to do an in-breath, counting to 3 seconds. So the in-breath will last 3 seconds. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, and just hold the breath for 3. 1, 2, 3, and as slowly as you can, exhale it. 1, 2, 3, and we'll just do it one more time. Breathing in slowly. 1, 2, 3, retaining the breath. 1, 2, 3, and really slowly exhaling. 1, 2, 3. Now, ordinarily at home, you practice this for 12 rounds in the morning before breakfast and in the evening before dinner. And as soon as you come out of it, as you'll find out from Raki, immediately your sense of peace is straight away tangible to you. What do you feel?
Yeah.
Just from one round, you feel the difference?
Yeah, I think that's been one of the biggest learnings of yoga for me, is that much like a lot of people out there, I'd kind of get home from work and think I just need to meditate or do something, but I hadn't given my body time to really control my senses and to breathe properly in order for meditation to be effective. And what breathing done is just help to control some of the sensory overload that we have as we're kind of going about our day-to-day business.
So there's no point doing a meditation if your mind is overactive, so you have to prepare yourself.
Yeah, sometimes if you've got more control over the mind, you can slip into a meditation very easy. But what Raki is saying is a very foolproof way of getting your mind ready for meditation is by doing a few simple pranayamas beforehand.
Right. Now, once you've done 12 rounds, is that when you would start the meditation?
Yeah, then you would slip very easily into meditation. The line between the breathing exercise and the meditation is blurred, and you finish your 12 rounds, you can sit for another 5 minutes and just enjoy your peace. It's very simple.
And you can choose then whatever meditation you want to do.
Yeah, then after that you can do a simple third eye meditation if you want, focus on your third eye center, or a breath observation meditation like the Om Shanti, where you feel your breath coming in and say Om, and when your breath is coming out you say Shanti, all in the mind, or whatever meditation suits you.
Perfect. Now, for those of you who are watching, if you have any questions or comments about yoga this evening, about what Neil is showing, perhaps there's some ailment that you have and you're wondering if there's an asana or something you can do with yoga that can help you, please do give us a call on our free phone number. Our lines are open now. We'd love to hear from you, and you can speak to Neil and Rocky and find out how the yoga can actually help you.
There was one more thing I was going to suggest to you, and that is actually just lying down and relaxing properly.
Yes, in fact, I was just about to say, some of us sometimes have difficulty sleeping, so is that type of asana that can help?
Yeah, because with anxiety, stress and depression, people often have difficulty going to sleep because their mind is very active. They're worrying about stuff, and a lot of people in my business, I've been teaching for 25 years, 60% of my complaints from people is I can't sleep at night, is insomnia. So today I'm going to show you a position of how we relax the body in yoga properly. So there's a few steps to follow, and I'll just talk you through them if that's okay. So if we get Raki again kindly to lie onto the ground, and this is what we try to do. When we connect our body to the floor instead of a bed sometimes, or just lying on the ground at home, again, you're earthing the electrical currents in your body. Because our body is made of electric currents. So when you lie down, you connect all of your chakras to the floor, and it's like plugging them back in and rejuvenating the body, but also relaxing, letting negative currents come out of the body. So the ways to do this is to make sure, as you can see with Raki, that your arms are a little bit of distance away from the torso on each side. That's all fine. The palms of the hands are turned upwards towards the ceiling, and the hands are not stretched out or clenched together, but they're just lying in a very relaxed fashion. It's almost like you're cupping a tennis ball of air, just very, very softly. We keep the jawbone nice and relaxed, so the teeth aren't clenched, the lips are a little bit apart, and when she closes her eyes, she closes them very gently and tries to keep her eyeballs still. We're also making sure the legs are a little bit of a distance apart, and then while she's in this position, she'll find within a few seconds only that the body becomes really heavy and relaxed, just like a rag doll on the ground, and she lets all her weight come down, and staying here for 5 minutes. In fact, even now, if I tested her limbs out, they'd probably be just like a sleeping child. So if you watch, you'll see how heavily and how loose her hands are.
Wow.
Okay? So this is an indication that the body has, I won't do it too heavy, but you'll see that the body has really relaxed. You see? The limbs are all gently moving. There's no stress and no pressure. If I lifted this and just swung it to the side, you'll see something that you wouldn't expect to see in someone after only a few seconds of lying down.
So just this position alone will automatically relax you?
Yeah, it will automatically relax you. And if you have a good local yoga teacher, someone you can see to help you to understand it, that's also fantastic. But you can do this at home so quickly today just by lying down and following these simple instructions, and you'll feel refreshed, relaxed, and rejuvenated straight after.
Amazing. Now, this posture is known as Savasana, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
So how long should one stay in this?
I think a good 5 minutes is really great, but I've been known to stay in this position for 15 minutes.
Really? What if I fall asleep while I'm doing it?
Well, fantastic. You've cured your insomnia.
Oh, yeah. For insomnia, but what if it's just for relaxation?
Well, it's not a crime to fall asleep. If your body was so tired you couldn't sleep at night, and then you got in this position and you found yourself falling asleep, hey, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. At least you've got a bit of peace in your life, and that's what we're trying to help people with today, right? Ideally, you should try and stay conscious of the whole process, but if you're going through difficulty, then whatever works for you is good.
Now, sometimes people feel that, when they start doing the meditation, so they've done the pranayama, they're in the right position, they're doing the pranayama, and they start to meditate and they fall asleep. Is there anything to cure that? Because then they come out of it and they feel, I didn't even get to meditate.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with meditation is that you're trying to stay alert and go through the conscious process whilst being conscious. If you find yourself getting drowsy, it's a good idea to just keep your eyes open for a few moments and take some nice deep breaths and do your meditation with the eyes open for a few moments. So just get some oxygen back in the system and you've got your eyes open. And this is why I say keep your chin parallel to the ground. Because as soon as you meditate like this,
you'll nod off.
You'll nod off.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now, we actually have someone on the line, ready to come back up. Thank you very much for sharing that. That was wonderful. We have Cynthia on the line. Hello, Cynthia. What's your question or comment for Neil?
Hi, my question is, usually I used to go for my yogas and everything, but recently I've been feeling really, really tired and out of breath.
Okay, let me just try and
And
make
I
that
just
finish.
don't know which yoga to do.
So Cynthia's saying that she used to do yoga, but recently she's found herself feeling very tired and out of breath.
Okay.
And she's not sure what yoga to do, or what can help her avoid that.
Yeah. Yeah, some good restorative yoga. It's like some very, very simple classical hatha yoga. We're not trying to rush through positions, but just doing one or two asanas at a time and taking your time with them, like cat pose that Rekha was doing today. And also spending some time focusing on the relaxations, which will help to rejuvenate the body. So nothing too pushy. Classical hatha yoga, restorative yoga, simple things like that will be the best place to go to begin with.
Right.
To rebuild a practice.
And the things that you've shown this evening, like the asanas that you showed, the meditation pranayama,
yes.
Is that something that Cynthia would benefit from?
She would, because the breathing exercises especially are so good for rebuilding your energy levels, because you're getting fresh oxygen into the system and you're detoxifying at the same time. So I think the energy should come back through that and everything we've done today.
Great. Raki, is there anything that you wanted to add?
No, I would just totally agree with what Neil said. The simple things can really make a big difference in this one.
Great. Cynthia, does that help you?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. I appreciate that. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Now, when it comes to the feelings of anxiety or depression or stress at this time of year, we can certainly do yoga on a daily basis. The things that you've shown have been fantastic. Why do you think we're experiencing this at all?
Well, I just think that generally in society, we're built on trying to please everyone. We're trying to please society, trying to please our family, trying to please our own kind of ideas of what we should achieve and not achieve. And we don't have a sense of inner peace and inner love for ourselves. That's what's missing. So what yoga does when you're meditating is it connects you with your soul. And your soul is, like I said, the reservoir of all that's great about you. But we just don't know how good we are sometimes. So yoga connects you in a very independent but loving way with yourself. And once your bucket is full, you've got more to give others.
Absolutely. Now we have Mrs. Verma on the line. Hello, Mrs. Verma. What's your question or comment for Neil?
Hello. I just want to ask you about any exercise for the neck nerve trip.
The neck? Sorry, can you say that again?
There's a pain in the neck. There's a neck trapped nerve trip.
Or trapped nerve in the neck?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Mrs. Verma is saying any asanas or postures that can be done to relieve a trapped nerve in the neck or pain from that?
Yeah, first thing that comes to my mind is things to avoid. So you should try to avoid anything which is putting strain on the leg, like the shoulder stand or the plow pose. You might know of these yoga positions. You should avoid those. Anything where you're doing like Jalanda Bandha, which is a bandha from bandhas and mudras, where you're clutching the neck down. You should avoid all of that kind of stuff. And what I would work on more than anything else, which I'll show you very simply now, is just some very gentle shoulder working. Because sometimes the neck nerves get trapped because the shoulder is not being used correctly. So you may find that you're tight in your shoulders. So by working simple shoulder relaxation exercises like this, so I won't do much of the stretches now, but if you just work on some side stretches, that will help to relieve pressure around here. And then I would see how it goes from there. But don't do any shoulder stand or any plow pose, please.
Mrs. Verma, does that help you? Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, good. Thank you for calling. Thanks a lot. And I would just want to remind those of you watching that if you are doing any of these or you're thinking of practicing any yoga, do make sure that you do see a qualified teacher just to make sure you're doing it correctly, because you can cause yourself injury if you do it incorrectly by yourself at home. So make sure you do see a correct teacher who can show you how to do the pose correctly. Right.
Definitely.
So is there anything around the subjects, around, say, the anxiety, stress, is there anything else we can do to help ourselves along with the yoga that we're doing?
For me, it's always about your thoughts as well. You've got to stay in a positive state of mind. So one element of yoga that's not talked about a lot is called Jnana Yoga. And Jnana Yoga is the yoga of wisdom. Okay, so trying to keep our thoughts positive, to not always look at situations and be so reacting to them, but to step back, allow some breathing to come in, and then look at things with wisdom. That keeps us in a positive state of mind.
Right. Now we actually have Sarah on the line. Sarah, what's your question or comment for Neil?
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Neil. Good evening. I have a question. I've got problems with my knees. I had a knee replacement in one. The other one is really quite bad, and this is, ongoing thing with a lot of people nowadays. What can we do to strengthen the thigh muscle to help
relieve the pain maybe on the joint?
Okay, so Sarah, I'm just going to translate your question to Neil because he can't hear you right now. So Sarah's had knee problems and she's had a knee replacement in one of her knees. And she wants to know what kind of postures or asanas could strengthen the thighs to take the stress off the knee.
Yeah, with the knees, there's 3 or 4 different areas of the body you can work to strengthen the knee. The one thing that you want to first do is to work on a posture called Utkatasana, which is, I can't show you right now, but it's a standing position where you come onto your toes and you bend your knees very slightly, and it builds up the muscle of the lower quadricep, and that starts to strengthen the knee. The second thing that you can work on is your calf muscles, is making the calf muscles stronger. Again, tiptoe postures will help with that, and finally working on your rear hamstring by raising the leg, like from downward dog, raising the leg up. That will strengthen the back of the knee.
Okay, great. Thank you, Neil. Sarah, I hope that helped you. I'm sorry that we have very little time left, but I think the best thing to do is if you see a qualified yoga instructor, then they should be able to show you exactly how to do those poses. But there certainly are poses that can help you with your knees. That's all we've got time for. Thank you very much, Sarah, for calling. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for. But Rocky and Neil, it's been a real pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you very much for demonstrating so beautifully. And thank you for your wisdom.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being on the
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you who have tuned in this evening. And just to let you know that what we have demonstrated today, both Neil and Rocky are qualified teachers. Before you do anything at home, please see a qualified instructor to make sure that you are doing the pose correctly. If you have any other questions or comments, remember you can always email us at zcompanion@ztv.co.uk. Now, Neil would like to leave you with these 3 key learnings as a result of the show. The first thing he's saying is slow, balanced breathing. And that's why he was talking about the Trinity breath. The 3 breaths in, holding for 3, and back out for 3. Very important because when you do that, you calm your entire system down. Secondly, balancing postures for stress relief, because by focusing the mind, you clear out all the overactivity and you calm yourself down. So balancing postures are excellent. And thirdly, relaxation to relieve anxiety. So that's why he showed us the final Savasana relaxation pose. Just by lying in that pose, your entire body relaxes, and that's extremely good if you are feeling anxious. So those are the 3 key learnings from our show today. And remember, if there's anything else you want to know, please get in touch with us through email, or you can always give us a call as well.